Hello and welcome aboard this Ryanair Boeing 737 flight from Genoa back up to London Stansted. Just give me a few minutes whilst I get things set up, and then we'll be on our way, and I can talk and everything and so on. Hold on a second, I'm just trying to sort something out. Yeah, phone's going slow, it's a bit annoying. Okay, my phone's gone into slug mode, so whilst that's trying to load what I want it to load up, let's do that. Let's set the hardware onto that. Realism, no, back. Visual effects. There we go. Alright. Oh, you absolute piece of shit. Right, let's get this plane up and running. First things to do is log on into Squawkbox, connect. Why it always brings it down there. So we are in the Boeing 737 of Ryanair, obviously. RYR973 is our call sign. Today, 973. Yeah, the Boeing. Connect. Plugins. Text window. Okay. Just got to send my flight plan, and then we can start running through the checklist. So we of course in Genoa, and we are heading to Stansted. Flight time should be in the region of around about 2 hours. I really should do this Squawkbox bit before I start the stream, really. But, not to worry. Cruising today at flight level of 380. And someone's knocking at the door, that's great. Excuse me a minute. Fabulous timing that was. I'm back. So 380 departure time, should be away by about, let's say, 10 past 12. And flight time, as I said, is in the region of, just under 2 hours actually. 1 hour 51. Let's put our waypoints in. There's no ATC here in Genoa. Hopefully there will be by the time we get nearer to to Stansted. Okay, let's set all that up. Start running through the checklist now. Let's get that checklist up on my phone. So parking brake should be on. Yeah, it is. Let's get the batteries on. Bat AP Gen. Standby power set to car close. AP bleed switch needs to be off for now. Left forward fuel pump on. Let's get the APU starting up. So we're departing out runway 28 on the large 7K, 7 kilo departure, and we're expecting runway 22 at Stansted on the Law 4 Quebec arrival as it stands. So yeah, we'll just wait for the APU to swing back round on here and then we can fire it up. I'm actually flying Ryanair tomorrow. The Gold's Tube, nice game, yeah, thank you very much. We are on X-Plane 11. Flying from Genoa up to Stansted. Okay, we can get the APU up and running. Position lights on and steady. Logo lights as needed, we don't, it's daytime flight. Emergency lighting. Close that, passenger signs, okay. APU bleeds on. Packs to auto. Put the IRS to nav. Init ref on the FMC now. So go to the init-ref page, pick out the previous GPS position, put that in there. Yaw dampener. Fuel pumps as needed. We haven't got too much in the centre tanks, but we'll put them all on anyway. Ground power switch off, engine generator switch off, AP generators. We know on window heat we can turn on now. Drugs are on. Trim air we need to turn on. Temperature control is fine. Recircs and packs are already on auto. Fire station valve switch is open. Engine AP bleeds are on. Pressurization panel. We're cruising day at 38,000. Landing altitude stands as about 350 if I remember. Okay, ATIS FMC program, so obviously we don't have, in fact let me just double check on VATSPI. Yeah, we don't have any ATC here. So we can just go straight ahead and program the, in fact actually first thing I want to set the QNH. So we'll just get that from Xenviro on the weather briefing. So QNH here is 1018, so set that there. Before I forget, which I've been doing a lot recently, let's start that. 1018, QNH, set the other one here. Right, let's get the FMC set up. So we're of course in Genoa, LIMJ, Lima, India, Mike, Juliet, and we are flying to Echo Golf, Sierra Sierra, London Stansted of course, performance, 0 fuel weight reserves, you can get that off sim brief, I typically just put 5 in there. Cost index for this flight is going to be 7, and a cruising altitude today 380. execute that. N1 limits outside temperature is 15. I use 40 there. Okay, so that's set. Take off flaps 5 degrees. Center of gravity 508 on the trim wheel, so I can pretty much just leave it where it is. And put in the departure. So as I said, we're departing out runway 28 via the Lag 7K, 7 kilo. When it says that. Routes. Okay, let's activate that, execute that. Next, so from Lagan T445, Tango 445. And that takes us to Tonda. Then from Tonda is direct to us Aosta. Direct. And from there we go Uniform Mike 729. Uniform Mike 729. Takes us to Molus. And then Uniform Tango 423. That takes us to Charlie Lima Mike. And from there it's Uniform Mike 733. That takes us to Banver, which is where we'll pick up the star for the arrival. Okay, so we can execute that, take off, put the V-speeds in, and let's just go to the arrival page a minute. So we're expecting ILS-22 at Stansted via the Allure for Quebec arrival. Here it is. Now, Abbott, ASCII or KC for the transition, or Laurel. I'll just have to refer to my charts to figure out which one's going to work best. Let's see, let's get that up. So I'd imagine Laurel is going to be probably the most appropriate initial fix there. So we'll go Laurel. What were the other ones? Abbott, ASCII or KC. No, Abbott and yeah, they're all the way over there. So we'll say Laurel. We'll get vectored or vector it in anyway, because if you follow the start of the letter, it's a bit weird. It stands to sometimes. Okay, let's execute that. Let's come back to our legs page. Initial speed 185. Let's just put that in over there. Okay, then from there we can arm the flight directors, the auto throttle, LNAV, initial climb. We'll initially climb 6,000. There's no ATC to tell me otherwise. And climbing at a rate of about 2,300 is typical. And the flight director on. Check the warnings. Okay, we've still got those two. Suspected auto brakes, rejected takeoff. Transponder. Well, let's leave it at that default 2,000. Taxi takeoff briefing complete. Cabin cargo doors are closed. Seatbelt signs. If we haven't already, we can now turn them on. External power disconnect. We're not using external power. Fuel pumps are all on. Electric hydraulics can now be turned on. Anti-collision light on. Packs off. We're ready to push back and start. We will be needing to push back to, let's look up on the Navigraph, see where I'm sat. We'll need to push back to facing right. So okay, that's fine. Let's double check there's no ATC online here. No, nothing. Okay, so let's go better push back, pre-plan. And we'll get him to spin us round facing like so, I reckon. There we go.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Better push back. Start push back.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay. So I like better pushback, but it always takes them forever and a day to connect to the plane. So whilst we're waiting for him to do that, we will just have a step through the flight plan quickly. Yeah, that's an interesting
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
and you'll see, yeah, here we fly this little loop, whereas in reality we can probably just cut that out and just go straight in from that. So we'll figure that out as we approach. As I say, hopefully we'll have ATC online by then, and they'll sort of vector us appropriately. Let's see. Let's go back to the map page. There we go.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, we want to be on Unicom as well, 122.8. Switch over. There we go. So yeah, beautiful setting for an airport right on the coast here, northern Italy, or northwestern Italy. Okay, so our engines are up and running. What we can now do is put the engine generator switches on, here and here. AP bleed, we can turn that off. Packs can come back on. Isolation valve back to auto. Probe heat. Anti-ice we're not going to need. AP generator switch we can now turn off. Engine start sectors, we'll move to that. Set my flaps in a minute.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Set parking brake. Okay, let's get flaps set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
5 degrees on the flaps. Auto throttle is already armed. Recall, that's all good. Taxi and runway turn-offs can be turned on. Okay, and we're ready to taxi on down in a minute. So let him go off with his pushback tractor, or tug, whatever you want to call it. Tug probably is more appropriate. There is Italian ATC online, but in
So it's disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
That's going to be an interesting departure actually, because the Zibo doesn't really like tight turns, I've noticed. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on with that as we depart out. Yeah, for some reason the sound is really quiet. Turn that up a bit on my headset. Master volume, one or the other. Switch TCAS on in a minute. Let's do a power slide around this corner. Oh, the turning circle on these is not great. The real thing is a lot better. It's my own fault for coming into that too quickly, actually. That sounds quiet. Did I turn the volume down on this? Ah, that's better. Let's turn the volume up. Oh yeah, TCAS on. Oops. There we go. And now I've got totally lost. We don't want to go on the runway. Where are we going from here? Oh, we've probably got to backtrack anyway, haven't we? Let my charts up a minute. Yeah, we've got to backtrack. We should have carried on across the other taxiway a bit, but not to worry. We'll come down this way. Yeah, I should have stayed on the main apron area rather than coming down onto the Alpha taxiway. It's my own fault for not looking at my charts. But we're not going to be in anyone's way, so it doesn't really matter. We can get away with it. That's where we should have come down. So we'll just backtrack along, spin around, and then we'll be underway. Hopefully there's a turning circle at the end here, so I don't have to go over the grass. Slow down a little bit, otherwise I go flying off the end of the runway into the docks, which wouldn't be good. Okay, yeah, we've got a turning circle here, fabulous. Nice big one actually. Okay. Let me just set those to continuous, landing lights on, strobes on, start the clock, and away we go.
V1, rotate.
Gear up. Autopilot. Hope he's going to turn soon. I've got LNAV on. Don't want to get too close to those mountains. So hope we'll make the turn. Brilliant. There we go. And we can dial this up to our cruising altitude of 38,000. There's no ATC to give me clearances to various levels, so we'll just dial that straight up. That needs to be down there. So reasonably nice weather here, a lot better than we're expecting in Stansted. The weather in Stansted today is pretty dreadful. It's going to be overcast and hello terrain ahead, pull up 74. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're well. I was just saying that whilst the weather's pretty nice here, we're not expecting very good weather in Stansted, so yeah. What's happening to my speed? Keep an eye on that because we don't want it to stall. I don't know why my speed's dropping off. That is not good. Come on, Zibo. Otherwise I'm going to stall in a minute if I'm not careful. Oh, we're dangerously close. Really don't want to let it get that low. Don't know why it's sunk down that low. That's odd. Oh, that probably has something to do with it. Forgot we weren't on VNAV. My mistake. Nearly killed us all. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, the Zibo doesn't always get on too well with these tight turns. As you can see, we sort of lose the path a little bit. God, it's still not speeding up much, is it? And we're slowly creeping back up. In fact, what I may well do is do a direct to Lagen and cut off that entire corner. I don't know why it's saying I'm using reserve fuel, most definitely not. So if we go Lagen and put that up there, and we can just go direct Lagen. Switch VNAV on now. Should be high enough to clear the mountains, I would hope. We'll find out in a minute, I guess. That's the end of the fuel in the centre tanks. Soon burnt through that. We didn't have too much in there. As long as we got enough in the wings, that's all that matters. This is one of these horrible X-Enviro glitches where you can, it's a really ugly line, sort of fog line between the tops there. I keep thinking about whether to get ultimate weather for X-Plane. I don't know if any of you guys watching have got it. I don't know if it's any good. Any of you got ultimate weather for X-Plane? I sort of keep considering buying it, but I can't make up my mind. Sometimes I see sort of pictures and videos, I think, oh, that looks quite nice, and other times, better put the flaps up. Other times I'm not so sure. Not too much ATC on VATSIM at the moment. The only thing we got anywhere near us is Austria radar, or VN radar, sorry. No, it's not Active Sky X-Plane. It is just straight up X-Enviro, which I'm using version 1. Can't remember if it's 1.06 or 1.07. Certainly not the latest one, because that has a horizon bug on it, which is really annoying if you start zooming in and doing stuff. I do have Active Sky over on P3D, so for X-Plane I just wanted to do things a little bit differently, so I went with X-Enviro. But I keep thinking to myself, well, maybe I should just bite the bullet and get Active Sky, because it is good. So yeah, we got VN radar online, but we won't be going anywhere near them. Over in the UK, we've got control at Heathrow and Gatwick, but nothing at Stansted at the moment. Okay, passing 10,000 feet, so let's ease off. Leave the seatbelts on for a little bit longer. Liverpool and Parma. Ah, yeah, that'll be a nice trip. Is that, are you going to be in the Zibo, or what are you flying for that? To 13,000. I did set our cruising altitude. Yeah, that's good. Now we can probably turn the seatbelts off now. So yeah, if I have a quick look at the weather for Stansted, what we can expect, although sometimes X-Enviro can be a little bit off with its weather, unfortunately. Aerosoft Professional. Oh, okay, so that's going to be over on P3D. Is that right? Yeah, if I've got time later, which I'm not sure yet, I was probably going to do on P3D. I was going to do Mallorca over to Budapest, but I don't know how much time I got left, as I've got to go out later. I'm actually flying on Ryanair tomorrow, funnily enough, over to Budapest from Stansted. That should be fun. Hopefully the wind will have died down by then, because at the moment in Stansted, if I just get the ATIS up for Stansted, I'm doing this on my phone, so I don't expect anything on the screen, but if I look at Stansted, it's telling me that's not too bad. 16 knot winds, raining. 16 knot winds from 26. That's not hugely bad at Stansted at the moment, but it's supposed to be quite breezy and gusty today, so maybe that will get more interesting as we get nearer. Oh god, Nightbot's popped up. I forgot I had that on. Hopefully it won't get too annoying, otherwise I'll have to kill it again. If it starts spamming too much crap from Nightbot, I will turn him off. I just wish they would do a more consistent ortho scenery pictures. I know it depends on the source. I'm using Bing. That seems to be the best source for most of the areas, but you still have these little squares of discoloration. I mean, often or not you don't really notice it too much, but sometimes it can sort of stick out a little bit. But for the most part it looks pretty good. We come down onto here, we can put the map on actually. we'll be able to see exactly where we are. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Really great feature this on the Zibo, having a little moving map. I know you can get it on some other aircraft now, but when you consider this as freeware and it's got all these little features on it, still amazes me the Zibo is freeware. It's come on such a long way. When I first got X-Plane, when it sort of first came out, I tried the Zibo. To be honest, I wasn't too over keen on it, but since then they've sort of tweaked things and improved sounds and everything, and yeah, now it's really good. It really is good. Easily the best bit of freeware I've got. Oh, Nightbot, shut up. Nice if we could have some ATC come online. What I might do in a minute is actually, I think I will, at least to fill in the silences when I can't think of anything to say, we'll put some live ATC on. Let's see, what have we got in this area? Nothing for Italy. I think we'll put Zurich radar on. There we go. This makes it a bit more immersive. Okay, the Aerosoft Airbus P3D. Sorry, for FSX. I actually really miss FSX. That's the first sort of simulator I started flying on, and I actually, for some really bizarre reason, really miss the menu music, which sort of deafened you when it first came on. So yeah, I started out on FSX, had that for a while, and yeah, then moved on to P3D, and then now I split between P3D and X-Plane. Yeah, I really love flying on VATSIM. I mean, even when you haven't got any ATC, you've still obviously got the other planes about and everything. It's often interesting just to look around on VATSpy and just look at where everyone else is going. Yeah, obviously when you do have controlled airspace, then certainly over places like London, it can sometimes keep you on your toes. It's good fun.
Contact radar 133.050, bye-bye. 133.050. Right, 1500 feet, remain no great. Cool. Lufthansa Foxtrot Hotel, direct ladder. 340.
It's quite interesting actually listening to the live ATC in the background. It certainly helps you pass the time on some of these longer flights. And occasionally you get some interesting stuff. I think I was listening to Zurich radar the other day, and they had someone who had I think some engine problems or something and had to return to land. So yeah, it's quite sort of interesting listening to all that in real time. Yes, you're absolutely right on the Unicom. Yeah, that is very, very, very entertaining for sure. It really does get quite amusing sometimes. I have heard that they're supposed to be implementing voice Unicom. I don't know if that's still actually going to be happening. I have heard or have been reading on the communities various people talking about it, so yeah, I could just imagine what that would be like if they did. But yes, Unicom is definitely quite entertaining for sure. I often find for that sort of thing on Unicom as well, it's pretty good over the UK, because especially if you've got somewhere like Heathrow's uncontrolled and they're just on Unicom, there's always someone who sort of sets it all off, and then yeah, as you're flying over, you can just, as you say, just watch and enjoy. It's quite entertaining. Not too much on Unicom where we are at the moment. We don't have too much going on around us. Let me just see if I can find where we are actually. I see I'm here. We've got someone heading up to Oslo, we've got a BA flight coming across to Italy, and someone flying from Mallorca to Munich. Vienna to Tenerife.
This is 121 Charlie, passing 108, climbing 120. This is 121 Charlie, Grösti, climb flight level 230. Climb level 230, this is 131 Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. Oh yeah, it says it on the top of my. I've got my call sign on the info. So yeah, we are Ryanair 973.
Alpine 154, question Alpine 15, Foxtrot Bravo, descent flight level 320. Level 320, Alpine 15, Foxtrot Bravo. 15 Foxtrot Bravo, connect radar 133050, Charles. 133350, Alpine 15, Foxtrot Bravo, stop. It's 133050. Say again, Alpine 15, Foxtrot Bravo. It's 133050 and cleared 320. And 15 for the battle. Ryanair 9624, direct to Guardia. Direct to Guardia, Ryanair 9624. This is Richie. Alpine 15 for the Bravo, descending level 3.
So I've only got 31 controllers. I find VATSIM, you typically get a lot better coverage in the evenings, which sort of stands to reason, because I suppose everyone's out during the day. But yeah, I always like to fly on VATSIM just in case. I mean, especially on X-Plane, because the default ATC on X-Plane is just horrendous. It's marginally better on. Not on X-Plane. I don't have any UK scenery, UK 2000 scenery. Basically, on X-Plane, I've just got all the freeware airports. On P3D, I have the UK 2000 sceneries for Stansted, Gatwick, Manchester, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. I think are the none of them are sort of the free versions of them. They're all payware though. But yeah, with X-Plane, I usually find that the freeware scenery is usually of a good enough quality. Unlike P3D, where the default airports are can be a little bit sparse and bland looking sometimes. Although, fortunately, because I've got some of the Orbx local regions, sort of England and Norway, they sort of actually add a few bits to the default airports as well, which just gives you a little bit more to look at. Yeah, so we've reached our cruise. Top of descent is hiding behind there somewhere. It's about 400 nautical miles or so away. And we've got a headwind, wonderful. There's so many flights I've done recently, no matter which way I'm going, I always seem to end up with a headwind. Yeah, 53 knots is not too bad, I suppose.
Yeah, Charlie, Echo, I'll identify, call 47 in 5 minutes. 4 Alpha Echo, good day, range flight descent flight level 170, direct to Drzewiecki. Level 170, direct to Drzewiecki, check 4 Alpha Echo. It's 13 November, G2 turbulence, request flight level 330 is cruising. Bye-bye. Hotel Tango Bravo 150 is the minimum 5 level, report detention. We are proceeding in block 9 Echo 101 and then requesting a Orbx 6,000 feet to cancel Hotel Tango Bravo. Roger. The Ryanair 9624, you have free speed again and connect Padua 135940. Bye-bye. Free speed again and Padua 135940 Ryanair 9624. 5 corner body, call back 4 lower. Oh yeah, sorry, you have free speed again, thank you. Free speed, thanks.
2508.
Yeah, I have had that on occasions, and yeah, that's definitely not much fun. I did a flight the other day coming down to Stansted from Tallinn, and yeah, I had not quite that much of a headwind, but it's still a good 80-90 knot headwind pretty much all the way, and it took me a while, let's say. Took me a little bit, yeah, quite a bit longer than I was hoping it would. So yeah, it's definitely not much fun when you've got something like that. Stansted,
Engine 625, hello and anyone. Delta Power Foster, you'll say direct to Norway and follower 133405. So, direct to Norway 133405, Delta Power.
Land flight level 300,
Yeah, that's flight level 200, given rate. Flight level 200, given rate, so Brian, 15 Foxtrot Bravo. Romeo, climb level 120 for the middle. Bridge is fast down Romeo, climb to level 240. Level 240, so fast down Romeo. Switch 86, direct to Minga, higher level in 2 minutes. On it Minga, and roger,
a nice view of the Alps down there. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, it is the Alps. Yeah, sure. It's just there.
According to my chart, the radar minimum altitude is like 101.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Although sometimes if you got that kind of tailwind and you're descending, especially in the PMDG 737, that does give you a tough time slowing down. You usually have to use quite a bit of speed brake, I find. So yeah, it's great for when you're cruising along, but sometimes if you're got quite a steep descent profile, it can give you problems. Yeah, ground speed is just under 400 knots, so that's not too bad. I'm going to have to change the time interval of Nightbot. That comes up far too much. A320, yes. Yeah, the A320. I don't. Well, actually, typically, no, occasionally I've trouble slowing down in the A320. As I had to go around recently, where I was flying into somewhere in Italy, and I had to go around because I totally misjudged the slowing down speed. I trusted my FMC too much, and it doesn't always enter in the values correctly. And I ended up not being able to slow down in time, so I had to go around on that. Where was I flying into? God, I can't remember now. Verona, I think. Yeah, Verona. So I'm going to change the Nightbot settings so he doesn't pop up. So often, the time is interval, edit. Ah yes, let's make him come up a lot less, submit, edit, edit.
Turkish 4 Alpha Echo, descend flight level 130. Level 130, Turkish 4 Alpha Echo.
Right, that should stop Nightbot coming up so often, hopefully. Oh, and that one up to 30 minutes. Brilliant. Yeah, they can really make you jump sometimes if you've forgotten that you've left it out. Especially I find in the PMDG 777, you can be descending on a speed rate and all of a sudden you get this, makes this quite loud noise, and then yeah, if you've totally forgotten about it, yeah, that can really make you jump a bit. Oh, we got some Unicom. What are they? Just, oh no, just regular chatter. That's fine.
Ryanair 3094, flight level 330 inbound, Tango Roberta. Ryanair 3094, good afternoon, inbound.
Let me see.
Flight level 370, 3094. Project Quebec. Thank you. Hallo, nog van de 8 Echo Echo, 310 Malaysia, request 25. Dat van de 8 Echo Echo, hallo, 95. Current flight level 340 will be fine. Luton 8 Echo Echo, that's fine, climb level 340, Zibo.
Romeo 33, climb flight level 290.
Bravo, descent flight level 140, all right.
Right, Nightbot should go away for a bit longer this time as I've changed the amount of times it turns up. I don't really want it spamming the chat.
One is above you, and you may turn left, call back. Okay, copy.
Let's just move it down to there.
Level 220. Level 220, you're in Delta Bravo Foxtrot, contact Munich 133.550, bye-bye. 123.550, confirmed, Delta Bravo.
I often wonder on the live ATC actually how, because obviously on VATSIM when you've got a busy area everyone always talks over each other, and it become a real jumble mess. Just listening to the Zurich radar now, I'm surprised that in real life that doesn't happen more often. I suppose they got certain things in place to stop that happening to the degree that it does on VATSIM, I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, we're turning left and leaving Baba Action 2 and Hotel Tango Bravo.
They've probably got more than one controller as well, to be fair, because they probably allocate so many aircraft each. Where sometimes on VATSIM they're trying to control the actual radar airspace, still the approaches. I mean, if you're doing top-down coverage from radar, you've got to handle all the people on the ground as well. And yeah, it can become quite a cluster. It can take quite a while to get through to them sometimes if you're trying to get your departure clearance.
Contact Bass 127325, bye-bye.
17325, bye-bye, thank you, Echo Echo.
375 Victor, climb flight level 240. Climb level 240, please start 5 Victor. 0. Coming 3503094.
107, time 120, Mount Vivid.
Ring 9X for Lima, low, climb flight level 240.
9X Lima, climbing flight level 240.
This is the top to 72 Delta Bravo, descending flight level 170 to Cornwall. Top 372 Delta Bravo, hello, identified. Cornwall Guardia, keep 300 knots or faster forward. 300 knots, Cornwall Guardia, any chance direct Guardia, top 372 Delta Bravo. Back shortly. Control, good morning, General Jelly 1170, descending flight level 180, inbound Cornwall, 2,200 feet per minute. Today 1170, low identified, on rate of descent and reduce speed to 270 knots. On rate of descent, reducing speed 270 knots, Jerry 1170.
Eurowing 9 X-ray Lima, direct Norfolk. Flight level 261, descending flight level 2203, level at Tula.
Front of X-ray, identified Airmo ski pole.
Airmo ski pole, line 105 Express. Orbx 9 X-ray Lima, not Lopper.
Correct, 9 X-ray Lima, contact out 134-405, bye-bye.
Orbx 9 X-ray Lima, 134-405, goodbye.
Check for higher level.
745, I design flight level 340.
340, 745. Lima Bravo 253, climb flight level 270.
Kansas Move 70, Edinburgh 252.
Search for engine 681.
It didn't take it long to cloud up.
940, bye-bye.
yeah. London. I honestly feel sorry for those London controllers because you just get to the it must be really hard just to stay calm and relaxed. And I suppose some people like it. It's quite a challenge. You've got so much going on. But especially if you've got new pilots who decide they want to sort of fly in that airspace as well. It can it can get quite congested, and if people are a little unsure what they're doing as well, it can soon, because if you've got a controller obviously having to explain to one person trying to help them out, then it whilst trying to control a whole load of other people, and it's soon it doesn't take a lot to to make it a mess. But to be quite honest, I actually find it quite entertaining, the same as we were saying earlier about the Unicom Unicom chats. But I was flying, I think it was on the Tallinn Stansted route I was doing the other day, and I was flying across where Stockholm radar is, and he had someone on there who just really couldn't follow any instructions, and I was just really waiting for him to really scream at this guy, but he somehow, it's like you could hear in his voice that he really just wanted to yell his head off, but he somehow managed to retain his composure. It's all entertaining. But yeah, I mean, credit to these controllers who do operate the busy sectors like across London, because they do most of the time manage to get things running smoothly. That can't be easy.
November Juliet, contact arrival 135.230. 38 Tango, turn left to Minga.
I mean, they keep talking about this new codec that's supposed to be coming out for VATSIM to make it clearer to hear. I suppose as and when that arrives, that may help, because sometimes half the problem is it's not always easy to hear what people are saying. I think yesterday when I was on VATSIM, there was one guy, it was almost like he was whispering, and then you get other people who it's like they're sort of basically eating the end of their mic. So yeah, that doesn't help either, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had a similar call sign. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm flying, especially if I'm streaming and I'm sort of chatting, and I'll if I'm like, I don't know, Ryanair, I'll hear Ryanair and it almost sound like me, my call sign. I'm like, was he talking to me or not? And yeah, but most of the time I make sure. I think the very first time I flew on VATSIM, I didn't realise that if someone was on the control, you know, doing the radar control like London control. I didn't realise they also controlled you on the ground as well. So there was me happily going along on Unicom and taking off and departing. And all of a sudden I got this private message saying, you know, what the bloody hell are you doing? And I'm like, oh, oops, sorry. And, yeah, had to get on frequency and apologise endlessly for being such a newbie. But yeah, it's all good fun though.
British speed 250 knots, descending flight level 120, energy 1170.
1170, sorry, the clear level is
Oh, okay, then yeah, I don't know how he managed to mix that one up then.
105 X-ray, descend flight level 130.
Descending flight level 130, Airlines 105 X-ray.
This 142, contact us, 134405, tuna.
34405, shut off.
Yeah, we got up to 60, oh no, down to 61 knot, but direct headwind now. Ground speed down to 378. It was just under 400. And we're speeding up again. What we've got going on Unicom here? No, nothing interesting. The only trouble I find is because I'm using a 4K screen, and that makes makes the text really tiny. So every time something pops up, I have to like look at the screen from about 3 inches away. And as far as I know, I don't think there's any way you can increase the text size. I believe they are working on sorting that out, but that hasn't been released yet. When I fly on P3D, it's not a problem, as I use vPilot, and that just pops up the same normal size. But yeah, Squawk Box, the text is really tiny.
Spring 254, identified your requested odd level. Your requested odd level, please.
190. Because of 744, good morning, 180,
Sorry, Iglesia 744, identified. Another 745, still maintaining 340, looking for 350.
This is 745, stand now, 350.
350, 745.
Radar good, this is 63 Yankee, flight level 107, climbing 120.
Good, this is 63 Yankee, climb flight level 240.
Climb flight level 240 with 63 Yankee.
South, Genesis, 139 direct to Guardia, descend flight level 160.
Yeah, it does, because obviously if you're flying eastwards, you've got to be at an odd altitude. If you're flying westwards, you've got to be at an even altitude. However, there's also north and south for some countries. So if you're flying, I think, to Portugal, France, Italy, and maybe Spain, if you're flying northwards, I think you've got to be even, and southwards you've got to be odd. So yeah, it can get a little bit confusing. So we're flying obviously north from Italy, so we're at an even altitude, but we're also flying in a sort of westwards as well. So I'm pretty confident I'm at the right altitude. Having said that, now I'll probably get control to come on later and tell me I'm the wrong altitude, but I think we're good.
Afternoon, North Round 63 Yankee at 85 to report your requested level. Lens 174, 35, 132.835 down. 32835.
No, Nightbot's popped up again.
132.835.
Must stop that coming up so often. Let me just dashboard.
Level 240
Here we are.
to non-ring.
Another back on the 3 Hotel Kilo, flight level 350, direct to Orbx.
3 Hotel Kilo, hello, 95, Joseph, direct to Beno.
Direct to Beno, Condor 3 Hotel Kilo. Condor 3 Hotel Kilo, do you have any turbulence recorded? Flight level 350?
At 35, we had light shock.
And we can confirm that.
06 contact good.
Release 105 X-ray on navigation inbound to Keyport.
Keep on line 105.
105 X-ray, arrival 118.005, Genoa.
18005, line 105 is
Yeah. I mean, there's many a times when there's been quite a few times when I've been on the wrong flight level as well. But yeah, usually you just have to. They'll just ask you which level you want, and then you can just change it up. But I don't know what it's like over in America, because pretty much only fly on VATSIM in Europe. I haven't really done any VATSIMing over in America, so I don't know what their sort of north, south, east, west rules are like, whether it's the same, or probably just to be extra confusing they probably do it totally the other way round. Same for other parts of the world. I don't know if it's how they do it in sort of Australia, Asia, Africa. Not that you necessarily get too much VATSIM ATC on in some of those regions, but
Device 200, direct to Ulm.
cool, mate, at least 200.
Let us have a touch to sound of transfer the 180 descending 150 to NQ.
Good afternoon, 965 and 85, direct to Relax.
Right, Relax. Good.
John 67 Hotel on request of Munich B25 Terminal.
Restart on ground 6 Yankee.
Second.
And on ground 6 Yankee, we have been trained to donate by a CPDLC. Could you give us please confirm your address?
Negative, confirm you locked in at Lima Sierra Alpha 2.
We were trained to Lima Sierra Alpha Golf, East, Venezuela Alpha 2.
Okay.
So Romeo, Orbx 390 descending to level 190.
Good afternoon, Air Force 61 Golf Romeo identified to proceed. Bravo Lima Mike 2 Golf.
Bravo Lima Mike 2 Golf, Air France 61 Golf Romeo, danke.
965, descend to flight level 130. 965, contact arrival 135, decimal 230, check.
135, decimal 230, yes. 965, yes.
Descent to 983 Alpha, request of Minister, high speed direct to D2, contact time on 133, decimal 550, check.
yeah, they can be. I mean, I haven't actually flown to too many places where they have had people doing VFR. But yeah, I think again the other day there was someone doing VFR on London Control area, and they're trying to figure out what to sort of do with him. And of course, when you got the controller sort of trying to sort him out, it sort of backlogs up everyone else. So yeah, I mean, I've never tried flying VFR on VATSIM or anything. I do a little bit of VFR, but usually just offline. It's, it gets a little bit complicated trying to remember patterns and downwind legs and base legs and all the other terminology that goes with it. Sort of enter left pattern downwind. I mean, I know downwind's sort of the opposite direction to which you want to land, but is it your left or the runway's left? It's yeah, I always get that mixed up.
Switch to Jet 1 Tango Bravo at any 5 Guardia Lumel, descent flight level 120.
Guardia Lumel, descending level 120 to Jet 1 Tango Bravo.
Next to Kaby, climb to flight level 240.
240 to Civic, set up for 2391. Hello, this is Sata Echo, fast number 335, number 320.
I was hoping we'd get a bit of ATC, but there's still nothing out there. Although, funnily enough, how was it yesterday? I flew. Yeah, and then he's got to remember all the instructions and get him to repeat it half a dozen times as well. Typically, yeah, it can easily get frustrating. But yeah, yesterday I think I was flying down across. Yeah, I was going to Basel, and Paris control was online, and I flew all the way across their sector, and they never even called me, which was weird because there are only like about 4 or 5 other planes in his airspace. I mean, I know sometimes the control, the radar controls don't cover the entire area, because I suppose it might have been that, because obviously for London control you have like London South, London Centre and London somewhere else, so that gets confusing. You look on VATSIM and you think, oh okay, I'm in a controlled area, and then you call them up and they tell you you're not in my airspace and you're on the wrong frequency. So yeah, that can be interesting as well.
Luton 676, step level 330. General 42 November, take course to Luxury, confirm requested level.
Dark identified, climb to flight level 130 to Xedix.
And level 130 to Xedix, advise departure. For high level radar on 132.835, goodbye.
Look on London Stansted arrivals. So we've got someone coming in from Bremen who should be landing about, as it stands, is due to arrive 10 minutes behind me. So hopefully we won't end up getting in each other's way, we shall see.
Turkey 4 Charlie Lima, hello, that's copy. Cleared to Trafalgar, then Gatwick. Hello, Dagobert 4592, presenting flight 320. Dagobert 4592, hello, Cork 7522, set course to Asus. And Asus at Cork 7522, Dagobert 4592. Lufthansa Cargo 8296, contact Milano on 136, decimal 035, bye-bye. Lufthansa 6136095. Radio, good afternoon, that's 33025. Lufthansa Cargo 8296, 136, decimal 035. 36025, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Brasili 3025, climb to flight level 330. We continue climb 330, that's 33025.
133 decimal 550, bye.
Hello, Condor 6, Mike Charlie, passing flight number 242, climbing 310, cross Homestead at 260 or up. Condor 6, Mike Charlie, hello, identified. What is your requested level?
This, good afternoon, Dr. Department, flight level 90, climbing flight level 110. Lufthansa 5 Papa Lima, identify, climb to level 230.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think last time I flew across Langen, I got the private message call me, and it didn't come up on squawk boxes. It just came up as something Z. So for some reason, I thought he was Zurich radar. when I called in, I said, "Oh, hello, Zurich radar," and he's like, "No, I'm Langdon." Yeah, felt a bit of an idiot, but should have realised there's nowhere near Zurich. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe he had a high workload, or maybe he was only covering part of the airspace. It's yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, that can be another busy sector, Langen, and then obviously London always gets horrendously busy. In fact, looking on VATSIM at the moment, it looks pretty busy. Although not too much coming into Stansted. Heathrow looks mental. There's loads of red lines sticking out of Heathrow, and yeah, Gatwick looks pretty busy as well. Poor old Luton. No one ever seems to want to fly into Luton as far as the London airports goes. Heathrow and Gatwick, obviously the popular ones. Stansted's reasonably popular, but yeah, not often I see too many people at Luton when I do flights in and out of there.
München 134, decimal 150. And 901134150, 320. Adria 50 Papa, radar identified, cleared, negative 1 Alpha. Negative 1 Alpha, Adria 50 Papa. 20 about non-read. Hello, switchhead 97 Lima, passing flight level 265, climbing flight level 310.
Switchhead 97 Lima, hello, identified. Report requested.
Initially flight level 350, switchhead 97 Lima.
Clear, Orbx, then Benot.
Orbx, Benot, switchhead 97 Lima. Climbing level 12.
Yeah, I subscribe to Navigraph, so I get them all off there. Navigraph is payware. I'm trying to think how much it costs. It costs about £6-7 a month, but yeah, it's well worth it. There's also, as far as freeware goes, there's a little nav map. I don't know if that gives you charts. I'm not 100% sure on that. Having said that, I believe it may give you some. How up to date they are, I don't know. But yeah, Navigraph is what I use. And it's good because it has a feature where you can connect up to your sim and you'll see a little arrow representing your plane, which is useful so you can see that you're flying the approaches properly, and mostly useful just for finding your gates on the ground. Oh, okay, I've not heard of that one. I'll have to check that out. Is that payware as well, or is that freeware? Oh, okay. Does it just do the charts, or can you update the ARAC cycles through it as well? Because that's one of the main reasons why I have Navigraph, is obviously you can update the ARAC data on all your FMCs, which is pretty useful, especially if you fly online. Not that it matters so much if you not got up to date ARACs. I guess I've heard people on VATSIM not have various waypoints in, and the controllers usually accommodate that. Okay.
Report requested level to 133.405. 133.405.
Okay. Sharp Fox. Yeah, that looks interesting. I'll have to have a proper look at that later. Yeah, thanks for that. I'll have a look at that later.
Radar accuracy 679 November, flight level 100, climbing flight level 120.
679 November, climb flight level 240.
Climb flight level 240, 679 November.
Have you received the speed restriction by departure?
Negative, just 196.
Okay, just wondering. Contact me from 13415, Corsair Fluid.
13415, and yeah, we maintain 270.
Oh, okay, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to go and check that out.
So the Delta Charlie Delta Alpha Sierra is climbing level 120, and yes,
Grüezi Delta Charlie Delta Alpha Sierra, climb flight level 240.
Flight 240 Alpha Sierra, thank you.
679 November, direct to Zibo.
Direct Zibo, 679 November.
Zibo, Ryanair 1 Zulu Romeo, passing 84, climbing 160, inbound on Orbx. Ryanair 1 Zulu Romeo, 6 radar identified. I call it back.
Level 280.
280 Alpha Sierra, thank you.
Eurasia. 30,
Ryanair 1 Zulu Romeo, direct to Luton and then Benot. Luton and Benot, Ryanair 1 Zulu Romeo, I'm assuming.
Decimal 405, bye-bye.
This is 189, 133, 405, bye-bye. Guidance to Papa, Alpha Sierra.
The Bravo Lima Uniform Victor, contact arrival 118.005, sorry.
118.005, Hotel Uniform Victor, are there?
5 descent to flight level 250, cross for Gatwick level.
550, ordinate level, Italia 25.
Dagobert 4592, radar 133, decimal 905, bye-bye. 133.905, Dagobert 4592, bye-bye.
Number 1839, GFC confirm we're looking for the test.
Delta 1839, affirm early distance to Zalman.
4592, descending flight level 250.
Dagobert 4592, 6 radar identified. Descent to flight level 230.
Descending flight 230, Dagobert 4592.
Radar 106 Yankee, Größe level 100, climbing level 120. 106 Yankee, 6
The other thing you'll often see on VATSPy, because when you hover over all the different planes, see where you're going, you often not see people who haven't filed a flight plan. We've got easy 52 Kilo Yankee just down in the English Channel here with no flight plan, so yeah, I wonder where he's off to. Oh, is this the charts that you're talking about?
Flight level 230. 955, contact Langen 131.3, Genoa.
134, das hier mal 405, schönen Tag. Sorry, Delta Sierra, you were blocked out to become 134, 405.
Let's switch live ATC feeds now. Let's go and see if we can find a French one, as we're pretty much right over the middle of France now. What we got on in Paris? Let's use that. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's good if they're pretty up to date as well. Then that's yeah, it'd be pretty useful. Ah, super. We're not a million miles away from our top of descent now. Still no ATC online though, unfortunately. At least for where we're going. Be interesting to see how Unicom goes once we get nearer the busier UK airspace. Actually, when you fly on VATSIM, do you use vPilot? Because I was just wondering, because when I fly using vPilot, when you get the controller to send you a message, you get this really loud sort of beep sound. I was just wondering if there's any way you can turn the sound off. That always surprises me if I'm not expecting it. No, I didn't think so. usually if I see on VATSPY I'm heading towards some controlled airspace, I just have to move my my headset off my ears a bit, because otherwise it's quite loud. That's the one good thing with squawk boxes, you don't get it. Yeah, Paris ATC isn't saying too much. I've got it tuned to the approach frequency for Paris Orly Airport. There must be something going on down there, surely. Maybe they're on their lunch break, who knows. Let's try Orly Tower then. Ah, there we go. It's better. I use SimBrief. Yeah, SimBrief. Typically to generate my plans, and yeah, that for the most part works well. Oh god, someone's got a bad radio there. Now we actually have. It looks like we've just come online. I'm guessing that's Eurocontrol by the looks of things. Yeah, Eurocontrol West online. So they might contact me in a minute. I'll just wait to see if they're going to contact me or not. I'll turn the live ATC off for the second, just in case they... Actually, I can just pause it, can't I? And then let's turn it off. So yeah, hopefully they'll get round to contacting me in a minute, or I could just contact them, I suppose. Let me tune the Eurocontrol frequency, because I must be inside his airspace. What's he on? 135.25. Let's tune that in. And I doubt I managed to talk. Good afternoon, Eurocontrol, Ryanair 973 with you, flight level 380.
Ryanair 973, Eurocontrol, good afternoon, just talk 0600.
Score 0607 for Ryanair 973.
Ryanair 973 at squawk 0600.
Sorry, 0600 for Ryanair 973. Could have sworn he said 07.
Eurocontrol, rest, good afternoon, Seagate 492, uniform, travel 350, inbound, no fan. PCI 492, uniform, Eurocontrol, west, good afternoon, your identified.
Eurocontrol, good afternoon, Transavia 4 Hotel, flight level 350 with you.
Transavia 4 Hotel, Eurocontrol, good afternoon, your identified. Proceed direct Charlie, Juliet November, you are.
Say again for Transavia 4 Hotel.
Transavia 4 Hotel, proceed direct Charlie, Juliet November.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty handy. I mean, I have my charts up on a second screen, which yeah makes it easier.
Direct to Charlie, Juliet November for Transavia 4 Hotel.
Peter 492, uniform, that's approved, report back. Report back, there's no one's uniform, see in a bit.
Yeah, so we did get some ATC in the end.
Eurocontrol, good afternoon, your ring 1 5 level 370.
Jesus, I can't understand that at all.
Here's 221, Eurocontrol West, good afternoon, your identified. Space 401, contact Twitter Island 135.225, happy landing, bye bye.
135.225 for switch 4109, have a nice day, bye bye.
You're welcome, bye-bye.
God, I can't understand him either. God, dearie me.
Last station Corsair noted.
EV242, we are approaching Luton about 20 kilometers.
Yeah, easy 242 flight level 380. Your call sign is very wrong in that case. Yeah, I see. You're identified to maintain flight level 380 and report and ready for this.
Report ready for EV2, flight level 3.
Air control today, speaker 2780, flight level 350, inbound collect between.
Cooper last station, speaker 2780.
Yes, speaker 2780.
Speaker 2780, Euro control west, good afternoon. You're identified.
Good afternoon, Skyway 3 Delta Hotel is with you, inbound to Melco at flight level 350, talking 0303.
Skyway 3 Delta Hotel, Euro control west, good afternoon. You're identified.
KLM 336, radio check.
Country 36, video 494.
Okay, getting close to our top of descent.
Control Skyway 1150, back with you, clear for takeoff, runway 06 spot.
MS 1150, Euro control west is controlling only Spain, France, and above flight level 45. So contact me again when you're passing 210 in off that count.
108.
Euro control KLM 23 with you flight level 300.
What's landing ILS?
India X-ray uniform Papa Alpha 30 November and
110, 500, 223.
Yeah, KLM 23, Euro control west. Initial call speed, please a bit shorter. You're almost identified at 0603.
I'm sorry, could you please say again for KLM 23?
23, that's Fox 0603.
0606 for squawk KLM 23. Euro control, good day, 376 Victor Delta, at level 330 inbound Elva.
Just 6 Victor Delta, the Euro control west, good afternoon, you're identified.
Euro control west, Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel, coming through flight level 270 inbound Mocha.
Yeah, last station comment on it.
Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel.
Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel, Eurocontrol, good evening. Your set squawk 0604.
Squawk 0604, Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel.
Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel, your identified, climb flight level 360.
Climb flight level 360, Ryanair 1 Quebec Hotel. Thank you.
Air control, good afternoon. EV calling Romeo. Flight level T10.
Easy 4 Lima Romeo, Eurocontrol West, good afternoon. Your identified, stop climb flight level 320.
Climb flight level 320. EV calling Romeo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It depends where he is, to be fair. I mean, if he's going by the time where he lives, as opposed to the time where the actual place he's controlling is.
Romeo, yeah, continue climb flight level 350 with a good rate of time. You have traffic at 12 o'clock at flight level 330.
We have the traffic on our CCAS EV calling Romeo. And can we get a squawk code please?
Easy 4 Lima Romeo, that's squawk 0603.
0603 EV calling Romeo.
Control, good afternoon, Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha, with you, flight level 283, flight level 380.
Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha, Eurocontrol West, good afternoon. You set squawk 0607, climb flight level 300.
Could you just go through, please, Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha?
Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha, squawk 0607.
0607, Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha.
Okay, we'll get our descent clearance in a minute. Yeah, that's how I usually do it as well. That I guess sometimes people can forget.
Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha, did you say flight level 390 for our climb?
Ryanair 1 Quebec Alpha, negative, flight level 300.
Sometimes it's worth a sim time if I'm doing a night flight and then the country I'm flying over, it's actually, I don't know, in the morning or the afternoon. Trying to remember to say morning instead of night can be a bit tricky as well.
Ryanair 973, no port rate is still able to monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8, then flight bye-bye.
Unicom on 122.8 for Ryanair 973, thank you, bye bye. Okay, we don't need descent clearance from him because we're out of his airspace. There we go, back on Unicom. Jesus. 12. Oh, I thought there's 12 flights coming out of Stansted for a minute, but the little green arrow is actually for Heathrow. Oh yeah, Stansted's much further up there. Oh, we got a little bit of ATC in the end then for about 5-10 minutes. I can put live ATC back on. We'll tune into. We don't have any UK live ATC regions, unfortunately, so usually I just tune into Dublin. That back on in the background.
Okay, hold short, hold on. Two Foxtrot, clear direct to Luton.
Should get the MCP message in a minute.
Reduce now 160 knots. Using 160, summer.
There we are, MCP altitude. So I'll dial that down to, we'll say 20,000 for now.
Cross runway 16, Mike 1, hold short of link 4. Cross runway 16, Mike 1, we'll hold short of link 4, Siberian 887, contact ground now 121.880. 121.880, Siberian 887, thank you, bye. Bye. Continue, some 2 got it. What's the wind there? 290 or 47 knots. Okay, copied. He's still doing 160 indicated, but he's about 14 to 15 knots ground speed fast. Afternoon, taxi, whiskey 2, hold short on my 16. Whiskey 2, hold short 16, Shamrock 1, Addons. Shamrock 6, Mike Hotel for taxi. Shamrock 6, Mike Hotel, taxi, link 2, Fox 1, hold short, link 1. Link 2, Fox 1, hold short, link 1, Shamrock 6, Mike Hotel. Yeah. Approach you there, around 2 Fox, just have 80 left 1. Runway 2 Fox or low, descend altitude 3,000 feet, connect 1009, and clear that, let's approach runway 28. That's 3,000 feet, connect 1009, clear approach for 28, around 2 Fox. 28, 164. Number 23 got him, thank you. Continue the approach with a 290 degrees at 27 max 41 knots. Continue, number 23 got him. Norwegian Juliet, Victor, commence your push now. Release point, Mike, advise when you're ready to tow forward. Caution, there is Air Lincoln 757 at kilo. Copy all that, Victor. Shamrock Alpha X-ray push is approved to hotel, report for tow. Hotel, cover, or cover, Victor.
So hope we can navigate our way through the usually busy UK airspace without any ATC. Once we're sort of past Gatwick and Heathrow, should be okay. Just keep an eye on the screens.
LM 43 Charlie, skate next right Sierra 5, then right against Sierra's ground 121 decimal 8. 121 decimal 8, Sierra 5 and then Sierra, LM 43 Charlie. morning, good afternoon, runner 816, Papa 1, 2,
Runner 816, thank you. Taxi left onto runway 16, but hold short of the Whiskey 2 and Mike 1 intersection, please. The 330 traffic to cross there.
Hey, enter 16, hold short, Whiskey 2, runner 8.
Ground KLM 43 Charlie, tracking Norway way.
KLM 43 Charlie, thank you. Taxi Whiskey 2, hold short, runway 16.
Whiskey 2 and hold short, Norway 16.
Ryanair, correction, Shamrock 1 Papa Echo, cross runway 16 onto Mike 1, then taxi right turn onto the Fox, hold short of Link 2, Ryanair on the left, give me.
And here, cross 16, Mike 1, Fox, go short, Link 2, Shamrock 1 Papa Echo.
Ryanair 816, after the airlink is 330 is clear on the left, continue taxi and hold short runway 285.
After 330, clean taxi, hold short to Ryanair.
Sherlock Alpha X-ray, Roger. Do you have clearance with the 320, the company 320 in the new colours on the right to go into Fox 3? Correction, Fox 2. Okay, break. Shamrock 1 Papa Echo, amendment to your clearance now. You can taxi via the apron edge parking stand 404 Charlie. The company heavy undertow will be towing shortly.
Okay, apron edge now to 404 Charlie.
Grand low, so for Yankee Alpha, hope to Papa 1.
Stubborn 54 Yankee Alpha, taxi Papa 1, enter runway 16, hold short, runway 28.
Papa 1, 16, hold short, right, so 54 Yankee Alpha.
Sherlock Alpha X-ray, tow right onto the Foxes now and hold short of Link 4. Sherlock Alpha X-ray, tow right turn onto the Foxes, hold short of Link 4.
Right, Fox, short Link 4,
Airplane 5 Echo Golf and Link 4. Runner 5 Echo Golf, give way to the Air Lingus 330, then taxi onto Mike 1, left turn runway 16, hold short runway 28.
What time are you planning on flying into Parma for?
Mike Hotel, your traffic is the company 320 on the left. Behind them, taxi Echo 1, hold short runway 34 and 28. Behind should be number 2 to the hold after. Sherlock 6 Mike Hotel. Follow the company 320 on the left onto Echo 1, hold short runway 34 and 28 behind.
Behind the company ahead on Echo 1, hold short 34.
Hey, firm, monitor tower now, 118, bye-bye. And Ryanair 5 Echo Golf,
dial ourselves down to a lower altitude.
Right turn now onto Mike 1.
Right into Mike 1, copy the traffic, 5 Echo Golf.
KLM 43 Charlie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll have time to do another flight today. I've got to go out later. I might be able to squeeze in a short flight somewhere after I've gone off and had my lunch.
Ryanair 816, monitor tower now, 118, bye-bye.
Monitor 816,
Stewart 54 Yankee Alpha, monitor tower, 118, bye.
Just keep my eyes peeled for any traffic. Let's see. If we got. He's coming that direction. We're looking okay at the moment. 16,000 feet. 1,000. Yeah, I'll probably be offline by then, unfortunately, because I'm off out later. But yeah, that would have been fun otherwise. Are you flying as so you said you're going to be in the Airbus, I think, so I take it you're flying as EasyJet or another carrier?
Juliet Victor, thank you. Tow via Bravo 1, parking on stand 405 Tango after the Air Lingus 757 is clear.
Yeah, the Bravo 1 clear all the way to
Shamrock Alpha X-ray, hold position now, contact ground north 121.880, bye-bye.
Right, figure out how I'm going to vector myself in for Stansted. Oh, I need to set my my speeds, don't I? So let's just get the wind at Stansted. I might have to add on to the wind correction. It's currently 16 knot winds, so half of that gives me a wind correction of 8, which gives me a landing speed of, well, that's quite fast, 157. Seems fast.
Continue taxi now, Echo 1, hold short runways 34 and 28.
Continue taxi, Bravo 1 for hold short 34 28, Shamrock 100.
Hey, from Monitor Tower now, 118, bye-bye.
Monitor Tower 186, Shamrock 100.
Ah, yes. Do you mainly fly for as EasyJet when you're flight simming, or do you do sort of like a range of airlines? I think I do Ryanair, obviously, EasyJet I do as well, Wizz Air, Fly UK, Delta and KLM are the main ones I fly as.
Door 23 Golf Lima, thanks, and you can contact ground now, frequency 121 decimal 880, bye-bye.
Hello, the ground been on 12180, Stonebird 23 Golf Lima, take care.
See ya.
Let's just keep an eye on VATSIM to make sure I'm not going to get in anyone's way as I come across past Gatwick and Heathrow here. Yeah, I did EasyJet down to Basel yesterday. That was a nice little short flight. They have a pretty good extensive route map as well, EasyJet, so you get to visit plenty of yeah, I do use Project Fly. So for doing my Wizz Air and KLM flights I use Project Fly, and then obviously for Ryanair and EasyJet I use the what are they called, the VATSIM or something. There's a whole group of airlines or virtual airline VA airlines that come under that umbrella, and then also I fly for Fly UK, who are another virtual airline. But yes, I do use Project Fly. That's quite useful. Oh, I got 2 aircraft on. It's okay, they're above me. That's fine. Just appeared over to the side there. So we're staying at 20,000 for now. Let me just check on my approach charts where we're going to be. Where's the star chart? So by the time we get to Brickman's Park BPK, doesn't really say what altitude I want to be there, does it? I'll vector myself in from there, I think. Let's see, legs, so BPK, we're going to be at 10,000, so you want to be a bit lower by then actually. I will just vector myself, I think. Muck around changing that now.
Jersey 4 Hotel Whiskey, if you'd like, commence a slow push out and hold the beam stand 312 initially.
Okay, we've got other traffic coming across here. He's descending by the looks of things.
Okay, slow push now, a beam stand 312, and eventually it will be released.
Don't worry about him too much.
Slow push to a beam stand 312, and eventually we'll get to Echo Jersey 4 Hotel Whiskey, and then we'll clear the full push down.
Oh, it's quite a bit of traffic about. This guy here is climbing, so I just have to be mindful of him. Although he is 9,000 feet below me, so he should Should be safely past him by the time resume my descent. Where are we on? Trying to see who that is on. That might be this one. Someone's flying on. Really? I've got someone here on VATSIM. They're flying from Heathrow to Gatwick. I guess I just want to practice their takeoffs and landings. I guess, but Jesus, that's not going to take you very long. The shortest flight ever. Speedbird 9154. We got someone departing out of Stansted, so I better announce soon on Unicom what I'm doing. But I can wait a minute. The next part, what did I dial my altitude down to? 10,000. The intercept altitude is, for the glide slope is, I think, 2,500, yeah. Well, it's pretty clear ahead. It's supposed to be overcast at Stansted. I hope this isn't X-Enviro's weather being off again. Oh no, there's a big heap of cloud over there. Interesting. So yeah, crikey, we're actually quite high. I don't know why it's left me this high this long. We're going to have to do some creative vectoring to get ourselves down to a proper altitude. Let's take ourselves down to 6,000. What's going on Unicom? Not too much. Just all the Gatwick traffic. And we're clear of Gatwick and we're pretty much clear of Heathrow. Let's get seatbelts on already. Alarm the auto brake as well. And we will arm, so I don't do it now before I forget, it's speed brake. So yeah, I don't really want to fly this little loopy thing here it's got in. It's quite weird, as I say, the Stansted star. So by the time we get to I think BKY or Laurel, one of the, it'll be Laurel, we'll then vector ourselves from there without flying that, so I'll get the heading dialed round to an appropriate direction ready as well. Leave it there for the time being. Always looks so brown, the ortho over the UK. Of course, this time of year there's a lot of yellow about with the oilseed rape fields. Oh, hello, what's happened to my frame rate? That's not... That's hopefully not going to die on us. Yeah, come on, come on. You can do it. Ah, gee, that's totally super slow motion. What's going on there? Come on, X-Plane. You can make it. Come on, you can do it, X-Plane. Come on. It does this occasionally. Hopefully it will sort itself out in a minute. Ah, Jesus. Come on now. Usually it's because... Oh, I'm not sure what it is because. I think it's because of scenery loading or something. Yeah, the scenery's ortho for XP, which is obviously photo scenery. However, at the moment, it's my frame rate has totally gone to, well, crap. Ah, Jesus. I haven't had this problem in a while. Why is it doing this? Frame rate's totally tanked. Hopefully it's going to sort itself out in a minute. X-Plane does like to do this occasionally, unfortunately. I'm glad it's doing it now rather than when we're just about to land. Come on, come on, come on. Jesus. Take me about the next 5 hours to land at this rate if it doesn't sort itself out. Oh, come on, X-Plane. Why is it doing that? That's annoying. I hope it sorts itself out in a minute. I don't know if it's because of the... No, it shouldn't be. So yeah, for some reason we've gone super slow. I've no idea why. Usually it sorts itself out after 10-20 seconds, but it's been like this for a while now, so explain frame rate. I've not had X-Plane do this to me for a while now, so I don't know why it's doing it. Probably because I'm streaming. If I wasn't streaming, it would be working fine. Let's see, all of a sudden X-Plane gives me 3 to 10. Why is that? Let me just check the forum, see why this is happening. Low frame rates usually not always result in maxing out your video RAM. Oh dear, looks like I haven't done that. There's no reason why I should have done. I've not got the settings set up that high, I don't think. Ah, jeez. Now, come on now, X-Plane, don't do this to me. Jesus. And on VATSIM. I honestly don't have the settings up that high, or as high as I could, so I really don't know why it's doing this to me. I hope it will suddenly wake up in a minute. This is not good. Oh, Jesus, I want my lunch. It's going to take me about till 9 o'clock tonight to land at this rate. What is it doing? Jesus Christ. I've not had it. I've had it in before in the past where it slows down like this, but usually it resolves itself in, as I say, 30 seconds at the most. But it's been like this for the last minute or two now, and I don't know why it's doing it. It's really annoying. I don't know if I dare click on the settings, because usually when X-Plane does like this, it only takes a one button click and it will totally crash out on you. Oh Jesus, come on X-Plane, just can we even get the settings up? See, if I just go graphics, yeah, so I've got that turned down quite low, so there's no reason why it should be doing that to us. Ah, what is going on with this frame rate? Actually, let me just jump back on the settings a minute. Yeah, texture's loaded, that's all fine. It's just totally tanked the frame rate and I've no idea why. That's not good at all. Shit, I'm going to try and troubleshoot this as we go along now. Low frame rates like that usually not always result in maxing out your video RAM. Well, I haven't done that. I don't know, sometimes fine. Get the low frames. Going full screen to window display. Well, we are in window display. That's something. This is really frustrating. Tell you what, let's get rid of that. Man, come on. And changing the view would help. Make it worse. No, doesn't do anything. We literally are now a slideshow for some reason. As I say, I've not had this happen in ever actually. Really don't know what it's doing. I'll certainly be looking at my log file when this flight is over to try and understand why it's doing this. This is really annoying. All I can do, trouble is if I do that I'll reload all the scenery if I scale everything right down. That I don't particularly want it to do either. Explain frames suddenly drop. Suddenly super slow, massive FPS drop. Okay, airport. Here we go. Let's see what. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this. All I can do at this time is try and have to bite the bullet and drop some settings down. Let's drop that down to medium. Let's drop down and see. Now that we want to drop down there, that's even going to make a difference. Right, let me just reload this and see if that helps. Ah dear. Damn you, X-Plane. Damn you. Why is it doing that? Well, done different. I haven't played around with any of the settings or anything. Ah dear. It's annoying. Come on, at least load the scenery back up so we're not stuck on the bloody loading screen. Bear with me, hopefully this will sort itself out in a minute. Hey, there we go, look, we're back. There must have just been something that hung on the scenery. I don't know. I've not had that before. That's really weird. At least we fixed that. As I say, normally I fly on those settings and don't have a problem wherever I go. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking at the log file once I finish this and try and figure out what happened there and make sure we don't get that again. Oh well, at least that solved that problem. That was really bizarre. Right, let's concentrate on landing now. See, at BKY we really need to be at 3,000 feet and we're going to be nowhere near 3,000 feet at BKY, so we're going to have to fly See, it wants us to fly this stupid little loop here, which I'm not going to do. We should just fly a some vectors. But at least we're back up and running for the moment. So X-Plane doesn't do that to me anymore. So we dialed in 6,000, we want to dial in 4,000 now, and of course we will vector ourselves shortly. So get the lights on ready. Did I seriously have left my taxi lights on all this time? Jesus. It's going well, isn't it? So actually we'll stay on this heading and then we'll just fly a little bit of a, so we'll sort of stay flying out this way and then we'll loop round and pick up the ILS for Stansted. So what's my current heading? Down train. We'll go heading select now. We will go VS. We'll keep myself. I'll increase the descent rate slightly, not too much, as otherwise the speed's going to run away with me. We don't have any aircraft in my way, so that's not going to be an issue. And yeah, we'll just loop round. Yeah, we had a few technical difficulties there. The frame rate just bombed for whatever reason. As I say, I've had it happen in the past, and usually it's because of sometimes the scenery loading, and it only stutters like that for maybe about 10-15 seconds. But this just really hung. But I lowered the settings slightly and reloaded it, and that seemed to fix it. So I'll look in the log file when I've finished this flight and try and figure out exactly if there's any clues as to what caused it, but I've not had it happen like that before. But yeah, we're back on track now, which is good. There would be nothing worse having you follow my flight all the way, and thanks for being keeping me company on this flight, by the way. And then it crashes on the bit, you know, sim crashes on the bit that everyone wants to see, which is the landing. That is just not just not be great for you or for me. So yeah, the intercept height, I think, double check, pretty sure it's 2,500, so we'll dial that in now. There's nothing around me, so I don't need to announce anything on Unicom. Let's keep an eye where we're going. Flying a slightly longer leg, because I was a little bit high, so we'll hopefully track back round. We might as well drop it onto the local QNH now. What we got going on, Unicom, that's too bad. Okay, just watch what we're doing. Still quite high. So it's 6,000, so we've just got to drop another 3,500 feet. Once we get down to about 4,000 we can swing it around, I reckon. Start slowing down a bit. Yeah, I'll be I'll be off to have my post-flight meal once I've got this on the ground. It's 2 o'clock and I haven't even had any lunch yet. I'm getting quite hungry now. But yeah, we're nearly there now. Okay, we can probably swing round for the ILS in a minute. Start getting those flaps out. That helps us down a bit, so let's go flaps 5. A bit bumpy down here now. Okay, and we should be able to turn in for our approach. Any trouble with XP Realistic with this head movement thing is it makes it very hard to keep your mouse on the dials when you turn without zooming right in. It's really annoying. Okay, well I hope you have a good flight down to Parma from Liverpool. I've not flown into Parma actually, I don't think, on the simulator. That's going to be I'm trying to think where Parma is in Italy actually. That's going to be probably around about a 2-hour flight for you, is it? I think in the region of. I'm trying to think where Parma is. It's more in the north, isn't it? It's one of a few places in Italy. I can't think where it is. Oh no, sorry, you said you were going, not Parma in Italy, you said you were going to... Oh no, you're not going to Italy at all, are you? You said you were going to... Let's see where it is in the chat now. I thought you... Did you say Parma or Mallorca, as in Palma de Mallorca? Can't remember which one you said now. Too confused. Okay, let's get the... oh yeah, we're a bit low, aren't we? 2 hours 20 minutes. Okay, we could have turned back a little bit sooner. Let's get the localizer armed. Quite a bit of turbulence down here. We're getting whacked around quite... Yeah, Palma de Mallorca. Yeah, that's right. I thought it meant... For some reason I thought Palma, Italy, but yeah, I was... my virtual Wizz Air pilot is on there. I was going to do... Funnily enough, I was going to do a flight from there back to Budapest, but by the time I've had my lunch and everything, I'm probably not going to have enough time to do that today, unfortunately. Otherwise, I may well have seen you there. Cool, we're getting chucked around here. This is going to be fun landing this. Yeah, I've armed the localizer, that's fine. Landing speed, what did we say our landing speed was? Going to be 148 with 8 wind correction for 156. Okay. Cool, this wind. Jesus, this is going to be an interesting landing. Don't be surprised if it comes down with a little bit of a thump. Actually, we can turn in more. There we go. Yeah, we could have turned back in for landing a lot sooner. My mistake. But yeah, it's going to be certainly an interesting one, with the way that I've got the turbulence settings quite high up on X-Enviro, which with the Zibo does chuck it around quite a bit, and this wind seems to be gusting a bit as well. So yeah, this is going to be fun. It's either going to end up it's a surprisingly good landing or a total disaster. We shall see. Yeah, that definitely makes it a challenge for sure. Because when you're crabbing, it's very difficult to try and sort of figure out how you're going to hit the centre line as well. It's very easy to get right off the side of the runway. But yeah, there's going to be particularly tricky conditions here today. I should imagine when you land at Liverpool later, it's probably going to be quite blustery as well, because you're doing there and back, aren't you? I think you said you're going down to Mallorca and then back again. So you've got the VOR arm that should hopefully capture the ILS in a minute. I can see the airport. Yeah, there we are, coming in. ILS is captured. And let's arm the approach. Oh, that wind is it's going to be fun. Slow to our final approach speed. I think we said 156 it's going to be, didn't we? Yeah. Of course, it's getting bounced around, something chronic. Let's see now. Come on, slow down. Okay, let's get the gear down. I don't know why we're not slowing down. Why are we not slowing down? That's Jesus. Slow down. There we go. That's remembered. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look for sure. Definitely. Yeah, once I've got this sorted out, I'll go on YouTube and then subscribe to you, and then yeah, when you're live later, I'll definitely check in and see how you're getting on. Okay, I think we're finally getting the plane to slow down. So we get the flaps out, guys. It's going to be a ropey landing for sure. This is going to be very ropey. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll certainly give it a look. Okay, let's kill the auto throttle. Keep the speeds going all over the place. Oh, this is going to be a tricky one. This is going to be tricky. Almost don't turn the autopilot off. Chicken out and do an auto land. No, we'll turn it off. Oh dear, that speed's really running away. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the runway and keep an eye on my speed at the same time is a bit low. Is not easy. We're way too low actually. Which way is the wind coming from? That side. God, Jesus, this is this is oh You need to crab it a bit more. Ah, we're way off.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
All floating it. No, don't float, don't float. There we go. Now we've got to try and keep it on the runway. Gee, that wind. Cool, 26. Yeah. I've got full rudder and it's barely going back to the centre line. Anyway, we have somehow got that down. Yeah, we'll go and park up on stand, and then we'll have a look at the replays. Really managed to float it, which you don't want to do in winds like this. So yeah. Cool, that was a challenge. It's a shame I floated that out, unfortunately, but there we go. Didn't help that I think the speed was fluctuating all over the place, so probably if I had a little bit less speed that wouldn't have floated like that. Yes. Well, according to my smart cars thing, we touched down at a landing rate of 195, which, yeah, it's pretty good. Although typically I find, because I use contoured runways, the landing rate indicators aren't always, for some reason, very accurate. Seems to throw them out a bit. I had a flight to Luton I did the other week where it reckoned I landed with a feet per minute of only 30, which when I looked at the replay, yeah, there's no way I touched down at 30. Yeah, I mean, I certainly float. I mean, it's not so bad at Stansted, the runway's quite long, but occasionally I've done, certainly not in a 737, but in a Dash 8, I've done London City, and that's an interesting one because it's got a very steep descent profile, and then you got to get it right, because if you don't, you either smash into the runway or float it and go off the end of the runway. So yeah, that's quite a challenging one to do, London City. If you've got, I don't know if you've got something like the Majestic Dash or anything, or a similar sized aircraft. London City can be quite a challenging arrival. Right, we'll just pull into one of the stands up on the right here, and then yeah, we'll take a look at that. Take a look at how that replay went. Well, that landing went in the replay rather. Oops, not the best taxiing. Supposed to stay on the lines. Never mind. Let's just park ourselves over here. There we go. Should be taxiing a bit more smoothly than that. But I just want my lunch now. Who cares if the passengers all fall out their seats? Right. Oh, and I haven't started the APU. Never mind, because we're just going to replay this straight away now. Let's file that. Right, before I do the replay, I better come off a Squawk box. Disconnect from that. And let's go back and have a look at how we went with that. Yeah, I mean this landing, I think we'll see from the replay that I did now was yeah, I definitely say I floated it a bit, but as I say, it's probably because my speed was a little bit all over the place because of the gusty winds. Probably should have come down with a bit more of a thump, but it's not good to float in strong winds. But yeah, let's have a look. So if we go to the external view, yeah, good old X-Enviro. It's supposed to be overcast at Stansted, and look at it. Jesus, they really need to sort that out. So yeah, we're sort of, ooh, look at that crab, and then yeah, float. Oh my god, that's terrible floating. Oh gee, that's a. Yeah, that's not my greatest effort. Let's have a look from looking down the runway perspective. No, we won't, because the simulator's now decided to crash on me. So we won't get those other replays, I'm afraid to say. Sorry about that. X-Plane has finally given up. At least it survived long enough for me to do the landing. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, I'll be sure to check out your flight down to Parma later. And for anyone else watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me as well. And we'll see you all again on another flight in the future. Thanks once again, and goodbye for now.